Well, we finally made it. We made it. We were working through Romans, the letter to the Romans. We were working toward chapter 8. Chapter 8 is probably one of the most beautiful chapters in all of Scripture. It's like the fifth gospel. And the reason why is because it talks about the Spirit, this gift that God gave us through Jesus' resurrection. So we arrived here, and so let's find out what Paul has to say about this wonderful gift that we have received. Now, in this passage, this week, we're going to be looking at these words. We know that all creation is groaning in labor pains, even until now. And not only that, but we ourselves, who have the first fruits of the Spirit, we also groan within ourselves as we wait for the adoption, the redemption of our bodies. Now, what does all this mean about? So all creation is eagerly awaiting for this moment for us to receive the Spirit, because creation will benefit from it. If we really live in the Spirit, creation will benefit. So let me put this in context with what Paul is trying to get at here. Remember when the pandemic came about, all human activity pretty much came to a complete stop. Now, my bedroom faces Boylston Street in Boston. Boylston Street is probably one of the busiest streets in the country. You have Berklee School of Music across the street, and of course they have a lot of musical students, and sometimes they get excited and they play the bongo drums at 4 in the morning. Then you have Landown Street, which is they have a lot of clubs there, and the clubs close at 2 in the morning. And so around about 2:15, 2:20, happy people start walking by my bedroom window, making lots of noise. Then you have 2 very large skyscrapers that are being built right next door. So you have lots of union trucks and big deliveries with these diesel engines just running running all night under my window, which is very loud. Not to mention that you have Fenway Park, and you have all the pedicabs, and you have all those crowds coming and going. Within Fenway Park has their concerts. You have the Boston Marathon finish line just down the street. It's very, very busy. But during COVID, you could stand out in the middle of the street all day and not worry about getting hit. There was no activity at all. There was nobody going to Berklee School of Music. Of course, there was no baseball games. Nothing was being built. Everything was shut down. Now, let me tell you what it was like being on Boylston Street during COVID. It was actually pretty nice. It was quiet all night. It's like being in the country. The air was cleaner. It was fresher. And I noticed that the animals were they were enjoying the COVID. In fact, I think that rabbits and plants were rooting for the COVID to win because the world was different, because the COVID didn't benefit us at all. It was a terrible thing for us, but it benefited creation. It benefited the other creatures. So let's now go back to Paul now and what he means by the creation groaning and longing for this moment we receive the Spirit. Now, Paul is not talking about go out and hug some trees. He's not giving us a lecture on global warming. What he's saying here is that when we live the Spirit, creation benefits. That's what he's saying. That's going to be the side effect of it if everybody's living the life of Christ. So what happens when we do live God's life? We're not angry. We don't get angry. We quickly forgive. And you know what happens when we get angry? Then we start fighting, and then people get hurt, and then people get killed. Then you have wars, and you have destruction. And of course, you take this beautiful world, and with wars, you turn it into a death zone. Another thing that happens when we don't have the Spirit is that we need things. We get very needy. We want bigger houses and bigger cars, so we get rid of the old stuff and make new stuff. And all our energy is on getting and getting more power, getting more money, vacations. When you have the Spirit, you get a lot of stuff. You have a lot. You have a lot, and you're able to do a lot. You do things you were never able to do before when you're living God's Spirit. Not only are you doing things now, then you have a lot to give, and so you become giving. And so all of these qualities and characteristics that come out of you is beneficial. We're not so concentrating on building and trying to have with possessions and getting angry at people and jealousy and envy and all of those things. We're rather featuring God's Spirit. And so that's what's really important for Paul, is that we have the Spirit. Are we living it? Are we using the Spirit? Is it beneficial? And the side effects of that, nature's going to benefit from it. You're going to see the world a better place. You're going to see a more peaceful place. And those are the positive signs for living the Spirit. So that's why this chapter is so important for Paul, is to build up to this need, to this want, that this is what I really want in life, is to have the Spirit so I can live the qualities and characteristics of Christ. You know, it doesn't matter what you are, where you are. You could be in a prison. You could have just get bad news. You're in the hospital. You're sick. It doesn't matter where you are, no matter how much money you have or how little you have. You can always use the Spirit. You can always have a fulfilled life by living Christ's life, by being forgiving. There's always opportunities and for us to do many, many great things, no matter, despite what happens to us. And that's Paul's message in chapter 8. So I hope you enjoy this Sunday, hearing these beautiful words. And what a powerful mission that is to have, to recreate, to retransform the world as we know it by just living God's Spirit. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Share it with others, and I'll see you next week.